All right, we are live on Dodgers Digest. Hopefully, everybody's having a great Thursday morning. Mike Nelson here with Brad J.
hmm
How you doing today, Brad?
Doing good. I mean, a loss always sucks, but doing pretty darn good for dealing with what a lame loss that was and how nobody could even use a bat. But other than that, dude, I'm doing good.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a tough week for the Dodgers. I mean, they've lost three of the last four games, right? Going back to Sunday, losing against the Yankees, and then they, of course, lost the first game of this series against the Mets. Won on Tuesday in extra innings, thanks to Max Muncy, and just a huge win there. But then yesterday, another tough loss. The pitching just has not been where it's got to be in these games.
Pete Alonso doesn't help much too, by
Yeah, for
the
sure.
way. What the heck? That guy is crazy. Yeah, and if you look at what happened yesterday too, as far as like look at the at bats that these guys did. Like, Conforto was 0 for 3 again. Otani had a couple of hits, and he hasn't been hitting well. And then 0 for 4 for Betts, 0 for 3 for Freeman, 0 for 4 Teoscar, 0 for 3 Muncie, 0 for 3 Kike. I mean, Pajes was the only one, 3 for 4, rushing out a hit. But when you do that, 21 at bats, 0 for 21 for your top guys, you're not going to win many games.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, the Dodgers, I think that's, of course, if you pitch well against them, it seems like that's how you beat them, right? Because the Dodgers, are going to
Yeah.
give up runs. And if the Dodgers don't score 5, 6 runs, they really don't have a shot to win a game against anybody, not just against a good team like the Mets. I mean, the Dodgers got to put up 5, 6 runs against any team they play because of the pitching, right? And I think that's why, like I talked about last show or the show before, it's really hard to do it in back-to-back years if you don't get consistent pitching, right? It's really
Yeah.
difficult, super hard.
It is, and I mean the pitching is what is causing all this. Yeah, and there's been some lagging from some other players too as well. But yeah, what do you do if you're going to need 5 to 6 runs every single game to get the W? It's like that's a lot of runs, and if you're going to have hiccups, which the Dodgers have obviously had hiccups as far as hitting goes, then like you're not going to win games. And starting pitching, I mean, man, can we get a break already? Can we
Yeah.
get something back? Because Gonsolin, I don't feel is the dude. I just don't feel. I feel like he's better coming out of the bullpen. I don't think that he's a starter. I mean, I don't know. And I mean, what was it? It was 5.0 ERA now. Gave up only 2 earned runs. And then what's the other guy? Ryan Loudis. Like,
Yeah.
what is up with that guy? I mean,
Oh, he's just a
15.
young AAA pitcher that's obviously
Yeah,
not ready for the major leagues. I mean, the Dodgers are bringing up
obviously.
anybody because they have injuries. I mean, he wouldn't be
Hey,
playing if
hey,
there was
can you
no
pitch?
injuries.
Come on in. You can pitch. All right. Yeah. Put on this uniform. Let's go. Like, is that what's going on right
basically,
now?
basically
I
because there's
mean,
too many injuries. I mean, the Dodgers are signing. Think of the they have 15 players in the IL, 15 pitchers on the IL. I mean, that's a
I almost
league
think it.
high.
I think it's. Dude, I think you're off by one. I think
It's
it's
16
16
now.
actually.
It's
It might be
16.
16, but I
Yeah,
mean that's a lot
yeah.
to deal with in a season. But I still look. I still feel after the encouraging video that I was watching of warm up the other day with Sasaki and Snell playing catch. That actually made me feel a lot better about the Dodgers right then.
You're feeling a lot better that potentially these guys could come back soon.
I feel, you've heard me say it. I've said it a million times. The perfect storm. In the perfect storm, everyone comes back right after All Star break. They just go on a tear. They win the division by a ton of games. They cruise right into the postseason, and that's kind of how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, you would hope that the Dodgers can, turn around come the second half. But at the same time, I think the main issue is, you're talking about, of course, the offense has struggled. Another thing, too, they were playing against the Mets, right, who have been pretty good. The Dodgers
Mm-hmm.
now have lost the season series against the Cubs and the Mets. So the tiebreaker is going to go to both of those teams if the Dodgers were to be tied for, that first or second, third place of the National League. So that's something to keep an eye on. The Cubs and Mets both have the tiebreaker over the Dodgers, and it's only June because they're not going to play anymore. Well, they have one more
Yeah,
game in this series, but they're not playing the Cubs anymore.
yeah, but you have to look at it against the Mets. It's like these are guys that you most likely will face in a postseason position if you're in that
Oh
position
yeah,
to battle for it. I still feel the Dodgers are going to go to the World Series and win it. I mean, yeah, I could be crazy by saying that, but I feel like they have the team once the pitching comes back. And right now, you can see the team is scrambling to try to get some pitchers together and try to make something happen. I mean, signing Jose Urena, like, I don't know if that's like the savior of all, but at
This is
least you're
temporary
doing
fix.
at least you're doing something. Yeah, you're putting a Band-Aid,
Yeah.
on it or something. So if they don't get back solid by All-Star break, and if they get too far back, that's a problem for the Dodgers. They still have one of the most potent offenses out there. So, but you can't go. Your best guys can't go 0 for everyone on the team. Like, you can't go 1 through 6 just going 0 for 4. Like, that's not going to get it done.
Well, Griffin Canning pitched a good game. Former Angel. He pitched very well for the Mets.
He did. And then tonight, you got, what is it, Peterson on the mound tonight?
Well, today, the day game. Very soon.
Yeah.
In a few hours, at 1 o'clock out at Dodger Stadium. Early game.
But you got Peterson pitching, and the Dodgers have a lot of success against him. Like, if you go look at the batting average in a whole, the whole team against what Peterson throws, they all have winning batting averages against him. So if the Dodgers come out and lay a big turd, right, and just go over, well, that's offense right there. That's not – I can't give the credit to Peterson because they've all pretty much owned him. Conforto at 333 against him. Pajes a 600. Kike a 500 against Peterson today. Teo 429. Smith 667. Rojas 438. What? 273 for Betts and a 667 batting average for Muncy. The only one who doesn't have a batting average against Peterson is Ohtani with a 182.
That's crazy. So
all these guys can hit him, but if they come out and he puts on like a Canning special and they don't, to me, I got to blame the offense.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you have to start blaming, the guys that are supposed to, produce for the Dodgers. But I mean, I just think that the offense it's impossible for them to have the same kind of season in back-to-back years. I mean, last year the Dodgers, I believe, led the league in comeback wins, and I don't think anybody's done that in back-to-back years. So how do you solve that problem, Brad? The Dodgers always falling down early in games, that they're always behind in games, coming back to win. Can you do that again in back-to-back years? Because last year that's what it was all about. Ugh. Comeback wins, and this year it seems like they're off to that again. But look at it this series. They've been falling behind and they don't come back, right? It's hard. I mean, Tuesday they came back, went to extra innings and won, but they could easily have lost these 3 games in this series.
Oh, fact. 100% fact. And you look at the start of the year, how many comeback wins did the Dodgers have right off the bat? And it was exciting and it was great and everybody was happy about it. But that's an alarm. That's a red flag right there where you have to come from behind. Well, the reason you have to come from behind because your pitching hasn't been effective, and that's your starting pitching. So usually that's how they take the lead, and that's what's happened to the Dodgers. And like you said, can you keep doing that? No, that's not sustainable. You definitely cannot keep like, hey, it's okay. We're down 4. We can come back from this. That's okay if it's 3 out of 10 games or 4 out of 10 games you do that. But if that's what you're counting on, night in, night out, to come back from a 3-run deficit or a 4-run deficit, man, that's a tough cookie to crack right there.
Yeah, and the issue, of course, is with the pitching is like you mentioned, Gonsolin and May have not been the same. I think we got to talk about both of these guys. Of course, have pitched. They pitched on May pitched on Monday, and then Gonsolin pitched yesterday. And both of these guys, like you mentioned, Gonsolin gave up 3 runs in the first inning. He kind of settled down after that. He lasted 5 innings, went almost 100 pitches. There was a rally in the 3rd inning. He was able to get through that. But Gonsolin and May also have not been the same since coming back from injury, right? Especially, I think, Dustin May. Not the same guys that we saw 2 years ago.
If I have to compare the two, I think May is pitching better than Gonsolin, though. I think
so far,
is better. But, yeah, you're right. Have they been the same? It's like we've had a couple of games where it's like, what May was that? And then you have a game where May pitches good. And you're like, okay. And the same with Gonsolin, though. He seems like he just gives up those runs in the first couple of innings, just like you said. Then all of a sudden, it's come from behind again. It's like if your offense is not firing, then Gonsolin starting is not a good look for the Dodgers right now. I really just don't think so.
Well, it's just the velocity isn't there for these guys, Brad.
No,
I mean, I just think that they just don't got any steam in those pitches. I mean, the velocity is down from 2 years ago for a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And even
you got to be creative.
What's going on there?
But you got to be creative, too. So, like, you look at Kershaw, right?
Yeah.
How much has he lost? His fastball is 89, 90. That was 95 back in the day.
Yeah, 90. Well, 89, 90 is not going to cut it in the major leagues.
No, so you have to use your other pitches to get batters off balance. And yeah, that works sometimes, but sometimes you get lit the heck up when you try to do that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
you have to get more creative. And I remember when Kershaw lost all those miles per hour and came back, he was trying to pitch like the old Kershaw, and he was getting lit up and couldn't understand why. Well, he's at least changed his style now. If you look at how he pitched when he was dominant, Cy Young winner, mid 90s fastball, it's a different Kershaw now because he knows he doesn't have that smoke to get guys out anymore. So he's got to keep them off balance. And when you're counting on that from Gosselin, from Kershaw, from May, even, I mean, May's got some more velocity, but if you're counting on that, that's a tough thing to count on and to try to get the win in the end.
Yeah, it just seems like the Dodgers, like the guys we're mentioning here, just don't have a go-to pitch when you have 2 strikes, right?
Yeah.
Even Kershaw, I mean, before it was always like, the curveball and all that, but now it seems like these guys don't have the go-to pitch, so they're like they get to 2 strikes and they can't get the 3rd strike or they're falling behind. Like Yamamoto is like the only pitcher right now in the Dodgers that you could say when it's 0-2, he has a good shot at getting the strikeout. He's the only guy right now that you're confident he's going to get the strikeout. Everybody else, you don't know what could happen, right? And like you saw with Soto, he hit that home run with 2 strikes on him. I mean, there was 2 strikes on. There's no reason why that pitch should have been, I'm talking about the game yesterday, 2 days ago with Kershaw pitching, right? It's a 2-strike home run that really cost the Dodgers. But there was no reason why that pitch should have been there in that position with 2 strikes on Juan Soto.
And a slumping Juan Soto.
Yeah.
So a guy who's not been hitting well, and then you give him a get-out-of-jail-free card with something right over, nice and juicy like a steak.
Yeah, it was an off-speed pitch. It just didn't, didn't fall out of the zone. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, and he's sitting on it because he knows that he doesn't have the heat. So he knows that. So it's like, okay, what's he going to throw me? Most likely it's off-speed. He's not going to challenge him with a 89-mile-an-hour fastball, is he?
Yeah. I mean, and then you look at Kershaw. His record is 0-0, right? Still yet to record a decision on the Dodgers. But if he was on any other team, Brad, I mean, what would his record be? I mean, I think that's something to keep an eye on. The Dodgers are a great team, right? They've kept Kershaw undefeated, so to speak. But if he was on any other ball club, where would Kershaw be in terms of his record? I mean, I think that's something we have to kind of talk about as well.
No, I agree. It would not be good. It would not be good because he's not fooling anybody anymore for sure. And on another team that doesn't have the offensive firepower, well then he's probably going to be 0-3, 0-4. But the Dodgers left him in that game to try and get him the win, to try and help his psyche and his confidence, which I thought was...
You're talking about against the Mets, his last start.
Yeah, I thought that was a weird thing to do. Like, look, just get him out. It was Alonso, right, that was coming up. To me, at that point, he's faced everyone 3 times.
Yeah.
Like, do not send it. But they wanted him to get the win. And they thought, this is the opportunity for us to get the win. And it wasn't the opportunity, and it came back and bit him. And it's like, would they have done that with any other pitcher besides Kershaw?
Well, I don't know, Brad, because right now it seems like all these pitchers are trying to get 5 innings out of these guys, everybody. No matter how the game is going, they're trying to get 5 innings out of everybody because the bullpen is just too used up. I mean, look at Tony Gonsolin. In a normal situation, they would have pulled Gonsolin in that 3rd inning when he had first, and they left him in because they're trying to get as much innings as they can out of these guys. There's just not enough juice left in that bullpen, I think.
No, and we got a couple messages. This one's for Ryan. It says, Cy Young Peterson going to shove again against the Doyers. Ohtani offer incoming.
we got some Mets fans, I guess, huh? Early, what is 11:30 out of New York?
So, yeah, they're watching.
Okay.
Here's one from Ryan again. The famous nervous snack going to throw in-game BP against the LOL Mets. Come on, guy. And then Jeff Royals, they're probably not going to win today either. Peterson owned them last time. But you know what? But still, again, how many guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys from that team that could all be starters today, all have good numbers against him. So he owned them last time, but you're not going to own them every time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like you mentioned, the stats. If you go to the analytics, right, the Dodgers have a good shot, potentially get some runs. The only concern is the start time. I've never been a fan of the start times at 1:00 at Dodger Stadium. No. I always feel like especially they just played last night. It's always a rough turnaround. And then get this, Brad. They're going to have to fly to St. Louis tonight and play another game Friday. I mean, that's not a close flight, L.A. to St. Louis. I mean, it's a really rough travel day for the Dodgers. Play a Dodger game and fly to St. Louis.
I bet that's a 4-hour. That's probably a 4-hour flight right there. Yeah. And the thing is, so the shadows, too. The shadows in the afternoon games like this sometimes, when you have these weird games, daytimes, I don't know. I never really liked that, too. And then to have that turnaround stuff. So what do you got to do? You got to play your young dudes. Like, Kim, why isn't Kim starting? Isn't he one of the best dudes on the team right now?
Yeah.
Why does he consistently sit out throw him a token 2 at bats? Or let him start one game, but not for 4 more days. Like, I don't understand that at all.
I mean, don't get it.
The dude who left 404 batting, a 994 OPS. Find him a spot. Conforto 165, 0 for 3 last night. How long does this continue? Look, I like Conforto, but he'll get on a streak for like 2 games and then back to normal. 165 with that many at bats is just not getting it done. When you could switch him around, you can get Kim into the outfield somehow, move someone else over to the left. I mean, there's stuff you can do to get Kim playing time, but I don't know why he's not getting the play.
Maybe you don't play Conforto. Who are you going to put out there, Brad? I mean, that's the problem. I mean,
well, you shift it. So to me, you would move someone. If you're going to get Conforto out, you'd move Edman. Obviously, would have to be in the outfield. So you need to put him out there. So who else?
They don't seem to want to do that, though. There's some hesitation, it seems.
About that. And then how about Outman?
Yeah.
Like, he's actually been playing well.
Yeah.
Is that just a fluke because it's in OKC? Or could Outman come and help and send Conforto down?
Well, I don't know. Outman's not coming up unless there's an injury, I think. I mean, I think the Dodgers have given Outman a lot of shots, and he hasn't delivered. I mean, I don't know. Do you really think they'll bring Outman up in a situation where they're trying to give him, get him, to contribute? Because he's already had his chances here with the Dodgers. And he didn't do well.
He's had his chances for 3 years. He's had his chances.
Yeah.
And he hasn't.
His rookie year, he was good. 2023.
Right.
Great.
And he started for the Dodgers. He was up with the club at the beginning. He didn't go start with the club this time, but he came up, did horrible, but then goes back down and does great. It's like,
well, he's playing at triple A level,
Yeah, but you would think you could transfer a little bit of that.
It's not. It's tough. It's a big step up. I mean, these guys, when they go to the major leagues, they're facing the best of the best. And like we talked about at the beginning of the season, these teams are coming to Dodger Stadium and they want to win. They're playing the world champions. It seems like everybody's bringing their best when they play the Dodgers, right? I mean, we've been seeing that all season long. Some we didn't see in the last few years. And the Dodgers have to just rise up to the challenge and know that they're going to be in for a tough game, right? Because like today, I think the Dodgers sometimes, I think it's obvious, right? When you win a championship, sometimes you think, you're going to get the job done just because of that reason. Do you think that sometimes that happens with this team, Brad? That they're kind of overlooking teams?
Sure, I feel like you can get complacent because you are the world champion, so you get a little bit of complacent because you're who you are. But with also that being said, there's the bullseye on your back from all the other teams. It's like, and it seems like the teams that are having not even decent years, they get up for the Dodgers. They play up for the Dodgers. And they play over
look at the Angels.
Head.
They swept the Dodgers.
Yeah. What? I know. What the heck is that all about?
Yeah.
Jeez, right? I mean, when everyone's looking to beat you, that's just how it's going to go. You can't be complacent. You got to come out there and get the job done night in and night out. And like I've always said, you got to win the series. If you have 3 games, you got to win 2 of them. If you have a 4 game, you got to win 3. You have to win the series, and the Dodgers are not doing that right now, especially the Mets. So even if you win today, the Mets still finish with a better record against you for the season.
Yeah, the tiebreaker, right? That's the key right there. The Mets got it because they won the season series. Doesn't matter if the Dodgers win today. Yesterday I was watching the game. The last few days I've been watching the games really closely, and it just seems like the Dodgers, I don't know. I'm a bit surprised. I really thought them winning the World Series last year was going to take a lot of pressure off of this team, but I don't know. They seem like they're once again feeling the pressure. Despite having, a championship, I think because of the acquisitions they made, I wanted to ask you, Brad, do you think this team has pressure? I think that they're starting to look like the pressure is there, even though they're world champions. The fans are getting on them at times. You hear the boos. The fans are really into this team. It's sold out every night, and when they don't perform, they hear it, and you can see it on the players' faces. That's something I think we should see as the season goes along.
100%. The pressure is there, and the fans know it, and the Dodgers are expected to, with the acquisitions that they made in the offseason, the acquisitions they made before last year, and keeping the team together and adding more parts to it, they're favored. They're favored to win the World Series again, to go back to the postseason. So if that's not pressure enough, like, because baseball's hard to completely have success all the time at it. So I do believe that there's a lot of pressure on them, and they're expected to repeat, and that's why a lot of people said I'm guilty of saying it. I'm guilty of saying they're going to repeat, and that's what they're going to do. But just think, if you got millions of people thinking the same thing, that's going to put pressure on the team. And then when you get that, where the starting pitching goes down like it did, then you got to deal with that. And then it's hard to do that. If your starting pitchers stayed intact, the Dodgers would have more wins. They would actually be doing better off than they are now. So,
yeah, they would be in a much better position. Like,
yeah.
if they were at the, if they were all healthy, I mean, I think they would feel a lot better with
Fact.
the guys going out there. Right now, they don't feel confident with the pitchers that they're bringing out. But let's go to we've getting a lot of comments here. We don't want to forget everybody here that's talking.
Get on them.
We got Jeff saying, if Muncy feels that ball in the 5th, Dodgers win in 9, and Kershaw gets a win. Guess talking about the other day, Dodgers still won that game, so it really doesn't matter.
The tweener, that was the tweener. That was what was it? That's his 9th error for Muncy, or 10th error,
something like that. Yeah,
that's
and
a
then
lot.
We got Maximus saying 4-3 in this homestand they went today, but come on, 4-3. That's. I mean, they're playing at home, right? I mean, the record should be more like 5-2, 6-1. I mean, they're the Dodgers, right? I mean, 4-3 is pretty mediocre playing.
Did you see the bub down? Says Gonsolin needs to shave that mess all over his face, and maybe he can stop giving up at least 2 home runs a game. I don't know if shaving has something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I like beers. I think it gives you good look. I mean,
it's not aerodynamic, dude. So it doesn't work.
It's not aerodynamic.
But, and then what is the Maximus says? At least the thrill will be behind the plate. Yeah. So with Rushing playing yesterday, you got to imagine. Obviously, Will Smith will be in today.
You'll be catching today, and then we got 3 and 4 if they don't. The plane ride will be much good if they get that W. Jeff saying every time Outman comes up, he's a strikeout machine. What do you think about that, Brad? Yeah, strikeout machine.
I mean, it's very well said, because he definitely strikes out a lot. And I mean, the stats
too
don't
much.
lie. You look at what he struck out when he was here, up with the team the time he was here, and you would see that's pretty much true. So I feel bad for the guy. I want him to do good. I like Outman, but I guess OKC is where he's going to stay, because we got Conforto hitting 165, so we got to keep him up.
And then we got Ryan saying, still bummed why they didn't pinch it for D-Rush, 2 men on base, 1 out lefty on the mound. I mean,
that's a good point.
That's a good point there, right?
And that's not the first. I mean, Roberts has done that a couple times this year, where you're like, I think he did that with Muncy too, where it's like, no, don't you want the next guy up, like, and he doesn't change that. Yeah.
Also, I wanted to remind everybody we're taking your calls. You can call us up at 719-359-4580, and then you could just put the code in 829-4372. 2334 pound. It's at the top of the chat. And we got a Brad showing it right there for everybody. The phone number, and of course you got the code right there, 829-4372-2334 pound. So you call us up right there.
That'd be interesting to get. We haven't tested out the call situation.
Yeah.
So
well, we got to see, of course. If somebody could call us up. Yeah.
We'll see if that works.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, so. Once again, so going back, I want to go back to the Conforto thing. 165. Okay, so if it's my outfield, I'm going to have Teoscar in right field. 278, that's what he's batting, right?
Yeah.
So I'd have him. I would put Edman in center, Pajes over there in left, sit down Conforto, and put Kim at second, keep Mookie at short, Muncy at third, Freeman at first. And that's how I would line the team up. And
which has happened this year. They have done that.
But, yeah, they've done that. I like that idea. I just, once again, it goes back to Kim needing playing time. I don't know why we don't give Kim more playing time. I just feel like he's hitting 404. I mean, he's showing it, and he's fun to watch. And I think the other players will feed off him. So give him a regular position. Put him at second more times than not.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree with you, Brad. Just the Dodgers, I guess think, because Kim has very limited professional baseball experience, they're really playing, going slow with him, right? Because, you think about it, he's never played in North America up until this year. So I guess they're just taking it really slow with him. They see this whole year as just a development year, even though he's doing so well.
Man, but you still have Conforto batting 165
Yeah.
with 160 some odd at bats. I mean, that to me is the glaring situation that we have right now. And because Teoscar's playing good ball, he's almost 300, 278.
Even Muncie's turned it around, as we know.
Yeah, Muncie's turned it around. So I like that. And you got Rojas, Miggy Rowe gets some playing time, and he's batting 216, dude. He's not burning things up either. So it's like, I don't know why you give them the chance, and I know they're veterans, over Kim, and I know it's a development year, but it's like, look, you need W's. You need wins. Like,
well, at this point, we're going to start to need more wins, because if things start to get closer with San Diego and the Giants coming up, I mean, it's going to turn into last year again. The Dodgers and Giants and Padres all fighting for the division. I mean, which is obviously, I don't think the three of them will be fighting for the division at the end, but it could be two of them,
Yeah. Oh, here's one from Gloria. Gloria Talbert says, should have gotten rid of Conforto instead of CT3.
Wow.
What's your comment on that one?
Well, I mean, they signed Conforto for 1 year, $17 million, right? So it would have been. They had to pay Taylor that similar amount.
Yeah, 14. I think it was $14 million that I had to pay Taylor.
No, 20, because they had to pay him the $5 million option.
Yeah.
So it's $20 million they owe him. But yeah, I mean, it would have been a similar, thing to cut him. But I guess the Dodgers didn't want to. They just signed Conforto. It's only been 2 months. I don't know. That's a good comment though from Gloria, because I think the Dodgers should have thought of doing that. Just cutting Conforto loose and then keeping Taylor.
Yeah, and then here's Jeff says Kim should have been at second yesterday. He probably feels the ball that Kike botched in that first inning and then turns a double play. Yeah, and that's another thing. That's why, like, Kike is a replacement guy to come in. He's batting 231 this year. Love Kike. Love what he brings, the hype he brings. But once again, Kim, I think, should have started that game completely.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you anything you're going to see Kim starting today. I have not seen the lineup yet, but I
should
don't
be out
see how
soon.
Yeah, I don't know how they leave him out.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, that's a bright note too. Like I said, Peterson may have done good against the Dodgers last time and owned them, but Conforto will probably be out there again because he bats 333 against the guy, has a lot of at bats against him. So I would think that Roberts is going to run him out there. And Kike, it bats 500. Does he send him out there? I don't know. I mean, you look at Rojas. He bats 438.
Yeah.
Like, is Rojas going to get another start over Kim today? Like, I just don't think that's a good idea, no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you, Brad. I think Kim's got to get an everyday job on this team, especially with the way, he's playing. The average speaks for itself. I mean, why would you not want that sort of player in the lineup every day? But it seems like the Dodgers, I mean, unless, I guess as time goes along, maybe they'll change it up. But so far, it seems like Kim is just going to be a player they're not going to use on a regular basis. And maybe, think about it, let's say if Kim was being used on a regular basis, would his average be where it is, right? Because he would have more at-bats, and that's obviously something that, you have to think about as well. Because he hasn't played a lot, right? He's played a lot, but not as much as you would want him to play, right?
So is that a confidence builder for him is what they want to do? They don't want him to get sad that he's not hitting well and he's having troubles?
I mean, it could be, because it's his first year in professional baseball in North America. It's his first year ever, right? I mean, it's not like he's ever been here before. I mean, he just arrived, and it's going to be a tough adjustment this year.
I can agree to that, but from what he's done, and not just his batting average and not just his defensive or his offensive plays or his speed or whatever, what he also does is provide a spark for the team, because I think the team feeds off him. When he's having fun and making plays, I think it makes it a fun environment, and I think the team's looser, and I think the team plays better. So I think there's a part to that I think he helps the team.
Yeah.
Because it's infectious when that dude's playing. And that's why I feel you got to get him in there. Man, I hope he starts today.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers need something to loosen this team up. I mean, obviously, it's been a rough week. They don't want to lose another game here, losing 3 out of 4. Imagine they lose 3 out of 4 against the Mets, and then they got to go on the road. And think about, like, the next few weeks, Brad. They got a lot of tough games, right? I mean, they got St. Louis on the road. They got to go to San Diego. Then they got to come home and play the Giants, right? and Padres.
Yeah, they got six games against Pods in like the next two weeks, and 3 against the Giants. And you know what? That's a good thing. So if you're the Dodgers at this point, you need to have a short-term memory. Get rid of what you just did. Losing 3 out of 4 of the Mets at Dodger Stadium.
Not yet.
Yeah,
they're playing today.
If that's what but they lost 2 out of 3 in New York.
Yeah.
So if you don't own that, I mean, you got to just erase it and focus on the task at hand, and that's beating the Padres and beating the Giants for sure.
But does it come at the wrong time though? I mean, right now with the way the Dodgers are currently, with their injuries and all, wouldn't you think it kind of comes? I mean, the Padres would love to play the Dodgers now, not.
Oh yeah.
I mean, for them, it's good. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's definitely good for them.
And
I don't know. You got to come out of it. I mean, short-term memory, come out of it today, get the win, salvage that, take the split, but they have the season over you. That's one thing. So, I don't know. I just feel, Ryan says, any news on Ruiz? Were they bringing him up, or are we talking Diaz, or who are we talking about here?
I'm not sure. We got Ohtani says it's been great, but he has some awful at bats. He doesn't hit it out. I mean, I think Ohtani's still the best hitter in the game, so I think we have to.
True.
We can't criticize Shohei. I think
you're gonna run him out there, even though he was slumping before he got the 2 hits yesterday. He looked a little confused out there and was striking out a lot. But yeah, he's a guy that you're not running out there, and especially now until he will most likely will pitch after All-Star break. What are you hearing on that? Is that still the call on Ohtani pitching after All-Star break?
Yeah, well, Bob Nightingale yesterday posted, a report on this, and he said that it seems like Ohtani is not going to return until August, right? I mean, that's the latest. That's what he's reporting, that it doesn't seem like the Dodgers are going to have him start any games or pitch in any Major League Baseball games until the month of August. So that gets pushed back again, which is no surprise at all. I mean, I'm not surprised by it, Brad. I mean, I think the Dodgers are moving really slow with this. And if he doesn't pitch at all this year, it's okay too. I mean, dude, I think that's something I think we have to. I said this yesterday on the video. If Ohtani doesn't pitch this year for whatever reason, they don't think he's ready. They're not gonna roll him out. They're just not.
Well, unless they might need him is the situation. I think that
what if he's not ready though?
Yeah,
that's
true,
the thing.
But they're not going to rehab him either, so they wouldn't send him down. He'd have to show that he's ready from what he's done in the bullpen not in the bullpen, and facing live hitters.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is he going to be ready though? I mean, that's the big question mark. I mean, I think the Dodgers have that. Think about it. They probably watch this guy obviously more than we do, and the Dodgers probably wonder, is he actually going to be ready to pitch in a game, like at the level that they're feeling confident, right? That he's not going to get hurt, because obviously him getting hurt would be really deflating for this team. It'd be the worst thing that could happen to the Dodgers.
Don't even say that, man. I mean, my goodness. Like, you rush the guy to get him back because you have no starting pitching, and then something happens like that. That would be absolutely.
Well, that's why the Dodgers, like I said, if they don't feel like he is 100%, they are not going to pitch him this year. That's my prediction.
I think he's got time, though. To me, it's like, look, it's only early June. If you're not going to pitch to August, you got 2 months. You got 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You got maybe 9 weeks before they think about it. And a lot can be done in 9 weeks. And then also might determine if people are coming back. What if guys are coming back and the Dodgers are getting more wins?
Yeah.
Getting more
Why bring them back then?
Exactly.
Why do it? Why risk it?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
But if August comes along and some of these guys are still on the shelf, like you're saying, Brad, and the Dodgers are tied with San Diego or the Giants for the division, then the pressure is going to be there to roll Ohtani out, right? I mean, in a really high pressure situation, think about it. Let's say he has to pitch in a game where like the teams are tied in the standings and all that. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's a risk that I don't know if it's really worth in the end. I mean, is it really worth it to have Ohtani pitch if he has to take days off and all that, like he was with the Angels, right? Because that's what he was doing with the Angels. He wasn't an everyday player, and the Dodgers are using him every single day. I mean, they never give Ohtani a day off, right? This guy plays every day because he has to play every day. And the Dodgers, I think, do you want to sacrifice that so he can become a two-way player again in a really tough season where the Dodgers have injuries and things aren't going? I mean, if the Dodgers had a 20-game lead, who cares? Ohtani can take days off, but they're not going to have a 20-game lead. It's not. I mean, I think
No,
people
no.
have to understand that Dodgers are not going to cruise to the division championship this year. I mean, I'd be surprised if they did. We'll see how June goes, but I think the Dodgers are going to probably fight this out until September.
Yeah, and once again, it goes back to if you need him and you're not getting the results and you're getting losses, and then you might have to throw him out there. Like if the pitching just can't get it done, your bullpen's taxed, you don't have starting pitching. He's proving that he can pitch to live hitters. He's showing that he's got his movement. He's got some command. Well, then I think you have to. I think you have no choice but to bring him out and get him to pitch.
It's out of necessity, basically.
Yeah, because look, would you want Ohtani after all this rehab and all that stuff, or would you want Gonsolin? Who would you pick if you had the two side by side? Would you? Well, no, I'm going to give the edge to Gonsolin. I wouldn't do that. If Ohtani's proven that he's got his command, he's got his velocity, he's shown what he can do to live hitters, and he hasn't pitched in a game yet, I would still pick him over Gonsolin to start for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, Ohtani, would get the edge in that situation. But I just wonder with the way, Ohtani had, surgery and he's been out almost 2 years now. Last year didn't even have any sort of movement to come back last year, right?
No,
and then of course had this was delayed. Remember, he got hurt in the World Series, so his whole rehab and all that kind of got delayed. And that delay, I think, is why he's not pitching right now, right? I think. Right?
Well, I didn't like that in the first place when that was going on. He should not have been rehabbing during the World Series and getting ready to pitch for the next season.
That was happening, yeah.
Yeah, it was happening.
Yeah.
They wanted him to face live hitters. Remember, I was saying back then I was definitely against that. He shouldn't face live hitters because he's not pitching this year, and you want to win the World Series. So why would you even do that?
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, and that had to be, was delayed because he got hurt and all that. And this year, starting to face the live hitters, right, like he just did this past Saturday. And I guess that's going to be happening once a week or so until they decide to ramp him up. And at the same time, think about it, he's doing the live hitters and he's playing in a game later that night, right, which is something to keep an eye on, too. I mean, he's doing this work basically around the games he's playing on a daily basis, right? It's not like he's taking a day off to do this. He's doing this on his own time in the morning or midday, whatever.
And they said they also make their decision on his training on what happens in the game before. So if he goes 4 for 4 and he's running the bases the whole entire day, they'll push that training to another day.
Yeah.
That's what the Dodgers have said numerous times regarding that. It just depends on what happens. But, hey, well, you could, what was it? The last game he was 0 for 4, so he can train on those days.
Yeah.
Because he's not doing anything besides striking out. But he was 2 for 4 last night, so – it just depends on what he does during the game before on his training that's coming up that day.
It's just interesting to see how he will do as a hitter once he does, pitch again. I mean, will his numbers stay as dominant as they are once he becomes a two-way player again? That's something that we have to kind of see as well.
Okay. Well, what if that helps him? What if he has to have a break, so he pitches and he has a day off, but then the next day he's hitting really good because he had a day off? I don't know. Maybe that helps him. We can't foresee the future, but we're getting a lot of messages here that we should probably.
We're getting a lot.
Oh my gosh, where do you start?
We got Ray saying that the Conforto, what was it? DFA Conforto, Kim and we always got the hate for Dave Roberts. Come on, Dave Roberts won us 2 World Series now. So
he calls him a bum. I like it. Roberts, you bum.
Kim and Kim are sitting there, getting ridiculous.
Bruce Bochy.
No, Bruce Bochy. No, we don't want Bruce. No. We do
we
not
don't
want
that.
Bruce here. We don't want ex-Giants.
Hey,
we already have enough ex-Giants on this team with Conforto. I mean.
Did you see Bub Down says, was it Joshua DePaulo or even Zaire Hope are better than Conforto? And I like Zaire for one. And DePaulo as well. But, man, I like Zaire. He reminds me of a lot of the way Kim is, too. The way he plays and has a lot of fun.
You got Paul saying, how much longer does Conforto run this fool out there? Talking about Conforto. I mean, a lot of people are really, of course, frustrated with Conforto right now.
Dodger fans are upset.
Yeah,
man.
they are.
They are. I mean, it's one thing if he has 50 at-bats and he's batting 165, but the dude literally has so many at-bats, and he's batting 165 is not where he needs to be when you got other guys that are hitting better that could fulfill that position. And it's almost like sometimes you think, is Roberts just running him out there because he doesn't want to be wrong? Like, or at some point, do you admit that okay, that didn't work?
Well, this goes into the same theory, Brad, that the front office has a lot to say on who plays on this team. It's not always Dave Roberts, right?
Completely,
I mean, I
yeah.
think people have to understand that. I mean, this is
Yeah.
not, 1975 where the manager just writes his card and that's it. I mean, this is a full team. I mean, think about it, isn't it? I mean, now this decisions that they make is a lot of people involved. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just how baseball is now. I think people
But
have to
remember,
understand that.
but remember now, Roberts also said that there is a leash at some point, and it comes to an end. So he said that moves would be made or something would happen if it has to be addressed. So
Yeah.
they're aware of it, but how long are they aware of it before they take action on it?
Yeah, well, obviously, when you take action on a player that's signed for $17 million, it really sends a big statement to that player. And the Dodgers really, do they want to make that decision now before the All-Star break, right? Because they did sign Conforto to a pretty lucrative contract. It wasn't like they signed him for, $600,000 like the Angels just did with Chris Taylor. I mean, think about it. If Chris Taylor does nothing for the Angels, they're just going to dump him. They're not going to think twice because they signed him for nothing. There's no really obligation to him. He's getting a minimum contract for a veteran player. He's making less than $1 million with the Angels. So they're just going to let him go. The Dodgers have to pay this guy $17 million.
Ridiculous.
Think about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Ridiculous on that. How much you have to pay on that.
Yeah.
Here's some more. Paul Vay Vlog says, have Ohtani be our closer. Save that arm.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that would be awesome, having Ohtani close out games. Be great. He's never done that in his career, which is something I think he'd have to. It's not the same starting a baseball game to be a closer.
No, definitely not.
So I think we'd have to kind of see how he does, right, with that. I mean, that's the only risk. I wouldn't want Ohtani coming out to close a game for the first time in the playoffs, right? I think that would be a mistake. If he doesn't do it in the regular season, we can't expect him to do it in Game 3 of the NLDS as much as we want it. Yeah.
What's his career ERA? Isn't it like 3-something, 3.3 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. Don't have it
3,
right here.
8,
But
yeah. Here's one from Ryan. Says Miggy Rowe is an eyesore in the dugout, a waste of a roster spot, an expensive cheerleader, and a veteran presence. My butt.
I mean, we talked about Miggy Rowe before the season started. I mean, obviously he's there just to be a veteran presence, kind of like Clayton Kershaw. I mean, these two guys are at the end of their careers. And to expect them to really contribute, either of them, is obviously wishful thinking, right?
But why play him as much? Then why play him as much too? It's like, I agree. Like, I don't
well, because you have to play these veterans. I mean, because it goes back to the same thing. If you don't play veteran players, they get pissed off in any sport. Yeah. They do. I mean, think about it. If you have a veteran player that's been in the league for almost 20 years, and you tell them, we're not going to play you very much. I mean, what is that veteran player going to think? Why do you have me here then?
Yeah, just sit the bench, right?
Yeah.
What do you want out of me? Yep.
Yeah.
Well, something's got to be done because Rojas is 216. I think he's playing a little too much. I think he's going to coaching next year anyways. I don't really think maybe he goes one more year, but I think he's done after this year or next year for sure. I think he's done.
I mean, think of the Dodgers had to already release 2 veteran players from their team this year, Austin Barnes and Chris Taylor. 2 decisions that I think were the right decisions. But it was like both of these guys had to go. It wasn't like they were going to waste a spot, right? So that's how it is. I mean, you have to. It gets to a point, I guess, where they have to let the player kind of go, right? I mean, is it a possibility? Do we see if Miggy Rowe continues to struggle and all that? Would the Dodgers release him before the season is over? Right? I mean, that's something that I think we have to kind of think. I mean, if he continues to go 0 for 4, he's grounding double plays, he can't run the bases anymore. I mean, do the Dodgers decide to cut him from the team?
That's a tough one. But I will say this, though. I feel like with Barnes, I feel like is going to go back to the Dodgers organization as some sort of a coach or something.
Yeah.
I think they're going to use him. I don't think Barnes is done working for the Dodgers. Maybe he's done. His playing days might be over, or maybe some team tries to grab him as a backup before, for this year. But I don't know. I think that he's going to be with the team at some point.
Well, I think right now he hasn't, accepted a coaching position or anything like that because he wants to continue playing, right? And he's hoping somebody will pick him up, right? There's still some months left before that can happen. So I'm pretty sure this year we're not going to see Barnes back with the Dodger organization.
No,
because he wants to continue his playing career.
Yeah, and you'd like to see him go back to the Dodgers, and he's a great coach, but and two great catchers. So let's see what he could do working in the office or working as in a coaching position for the Dodgers.
Paul saying, for Ryan's saying Ohtani hits very well on his bump during his Angels days. Of course, talking about, I guess, the day that he comes back, right? After starting.
Yep.
And then we got Paul saying front office definitely has a say. Look at Glasnow and Snell signs. Yeah, obviously. That's what I'm saying. Like, these front office guys on the Dodgers, that's why Dave Roberts has had a job for so long. Because probably any other manager would not allow so much influence from the front office, right? I mean, that's why they like Dave Roberts, and that's why, it paid off in the end for him.
Because you're saying he's a yes man, right? Is that
well, yeah. I mean, obviously. Yeah. I mean, he's not going to argue like other managers will. I mean, look at I mean, there's other cases like you got Joe Madden on the Angels who got fired in the middle of the year. You have there's a lot of cases where managers had disagreements with the front office and it cost them their job, right? I mean, Dave Roberts has never been about that. He likes to work with people. You can see it the way he gets gets along well with the press as well. And that's what's kept him so long on this team, right? Because any other manager probably would have been fired earlier, right? I think that people have to acknowledge that at least, right? There was cases where Roberts could have been canned earlier than he was kept, right?
Yeah, and I feel, but I also feel his coaching strategy has changed, and maybe that's what you talk about with the front office being involved in it, because some of the moves he made, I would say 5, 6, 7 years ago, he doesn't make those same moves nowadays. And I can't give you the exact one or two or whatever, but just seems like he's a different manager than he has been in the past. And maybe that's because they have a short leash on him, just like they have short leashes on or long leashes on players on how long they're going to send them out there with subpar performances. So I think there's some talking to with him, and he's a yes man, and they have a lot to say because they're a big time organization that brings in a lot of talent and brings in a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the case, and Dodgers, of course, have invested so much money in this team that probably that's why the front office feels like, we're not going to just let you kind of, run this whole thing. But I think that frustrates a lot of fans out there because, of course, they, think about it. The Dodgers are a historic organization that had, like Tommy Lasorda, think about it. That guy never took any direction from anybody. I mean, basically all his decisions.
Oh, no way, man. He made it. Yeah, he did his own thing.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm so glad I got to meet him later on.
Wow, that's awesome.
When he was done, but that guy actually exchanged pasta recipes with me.
Really? Wow.
But man, he was fun. Like, you look at the old clips of him giving it to the umpires and saying stuff. Like, he didn't mess around at all.
Yeah.
And when he coached when he managed the team that won the Olympic gold medal, what was it, in 84?
Oh.
No,
we're talking about the LA Olympics. Okay.
Yep, the LA Olympics.
Yeah.
When he managed that team, he was pissed that he didn't get a medal too.
Wow.
He thought the managers should get a medal as well. And in the Olympics, the manager doesn't get a medal.
Wow. Did they do the 84 Olympics baseball at Dodger Stadium then?
They did. They did indeed. Yeah.
So in 2028, they're going to do it at Dodger Stadium again. So.
Yep. I think Angels get it too. I think Angels get some games over there.
That's going to be fun to watch for sure.
Getting more stuff. This guy. Bub Down says, I would play Dino Ebel instead of Conforto.
Dino Ebel. That's funny.
Dino can play a ball, man. I've seen him barehand a lot of hot shots, man. Yeah.
Then we got Donald saying, Donald saying trade Conforto and Rojas for Cleveland's third baseman. That's two players for one. I don't know about that, but.
And then play Muncy at second is natural position.
Okay.
But where do you put Kim at? To me, I feel like Kim should be the starting second baseman. I really do.
Then we got Jeff saying better get ahead early because Garrett and Diaz didn't pitch yesterday for the Mets. Not going to be pretty sure. Yeah, I mean today got to try to take a lead out there at Dodger Stadium. It's a day game, I wish I was going to the game today, Bragg. It's always fun to go to weekday day games. They're super cheap to go to, but. Yeah.
And the traffic's a lot easier getting out of there.
For sure. I love those games.
I mean, some of the days when I would drive back to Santa Barbara, I would literally take, on a Sunday, I would just take Sunset all the way to the beach.
That's right.
Just because it was, the 134 was locked down, the 101 is locked down, the 5, the 10, the 110,
Yeah.
You
guys know how it is. But, we're wrapping it up here. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to today's show. I don't know if you have anything else, Brad, before we wrap it up.
No, I would say this. Look, seeing Snell and Sasaki warming up together and pitching and playing catch, that's a good sign. They're getting better. They're progressing. We need those guys in there. Glasnow, that's a bummer about him. But look, the perfect storm is coming. We're going to get a lot of these guys back at All-Star break. We just got to ride the storm out until we get then and not try to have to come back all the time. We need guys to go quality starts, and we need to beat the Mutts, which someone called them. I love it.
You got to ride the storm out like Ario Speedwagon then.
We have to. I'm not going to sing that. I could break in the song with that. But, yeah, no. So we got to think positive, Dodgers. We're going to get some wins out there. Hopefully we can take care of business today and have a good road trip.
There we go. Well, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Take us away, Brad.
All right. You guys know what to do, man. As you go through your day, send out the positive vibes and always think Dodger Blue, and let's go Dodgers.
Let's go Dodgers.